Silent Night Deadly Night Part 3 is the 1989 sequel to Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2 and the last to continue the plot of the first movie. It is directed by Monty Hellman, with writing of the final work done by Hellman himself, his daughter Melissa Hellman, and Stephen Gaydos, as well as Rex Weiner. With all these writers, surely a ton must be going on in the film. Well, years after his deadly rampage, a doctor begins using a blind clairvoyant girl named Laura Anderson to connect with Ricky Caldwell. However, when the killer wakes, he only has one goal: tracking down and killing Laura, as well as anyone standing in his way. Will Laura survive? Will Ricky's rampage finally end? Stay tuned to find out. We begin with Laura waking up in a sterile room. Laura here is played by Samantha Scully, but she's not alone. In the room with her is Ricky, comatose and more of a head case than I thought. Also, you may have noticed, but that isn't Eric Freeman. It isn't even Robert Brian Wilson. No, this time around our killer is played by Bill Moseley, as in Otis from The Devil's Rejects.
Hoss, I want you to pray to your God. I want you to pray that he comes and saves you. I want lightning to come down and crash upon my fucking head.
A few moments later.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Don't expect him to do much, as for the entire film, he's basically a zombie. Or, I suppose, more of a drogger. Anyways, he attacks, so Laura flees into the arms of Santa Claus, who she lists off everything she wants: a pony, ballet shoes, bitch, you're old enough to pay taxes, get them yourself. And she awakes into the arms of Dr. Newberry, played by Richard Baymer. Seems he's trying to get her to connect to Ricky. If she knows this or not, I'm not sure. I mean, he records his thoughts pretty loudly and in front of her. Anyway, she's put under again, and this time we get footage from the first movie. Wait, if this is Ricky, why are we getting flashbacks to Billy's stuff? Anyway, she doesn't want to continue and has a trip to her grandmother's home. The doctor is annoyed, but certain she'll come back.
You think she'll come back?
She's gone too far. She'll be back. And then she'll let me go as deep as I want.
We still talking about mind stuff, right?
She likes it. Loves it.
Doc, we're still talking about mind stuff, right? Well, at least the doc is nice, unlike the nurse at the welcoming station.
My brother is coming to pick me up. Could you let me know when he's here?
I'm very busy, miss.
Later, when no one answers her calls, she feels the nurse is murdered, but it was all a dream. Her brother is there to pick her up, Chris, played by Eric Darek. He was in Starship Troopers as, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Anyways, time to leave, and for Ricky to get up and kill the hospital Santa off-screen, and he doesn't wear the suit. He then fulfills Laura's vision. Also off-screen, though we do see the body. It's almost like they wanted to have some mystery to the killer, like, ooh, is it Laura? But they never go all the way with this angle. Back with Laura, she's meeting Chris's girlfriend, Jerry, played by Laura Herring. We'll be seeing more of her later.
It's nice to meet you anyway. Chris tells me you're psychic.
Chris tells me you give great head.
Jesus, Laura.
They don't get along, and sleep only brings back more visions. At least they're more Ricky-focused. Speaking of Ricky, what is he doing? Look, after I saw the devil, I'm not picking anybody up, even if I can literally see their brain. Anyways, the journey to Grandma's house is on. Laura seems to be leading, and with Ricky stopping to make another kill, it seems he'll be a late arrival. Meanwhile, the cops are on the scene of the hospital murders. Lieutenant Connolly, played by Robert Culp, is pressing Dr. Newberry for information on the killer.
I was there. You pumped a dozen rounds into this bastard, blew half his head off.
His brain was surgically reconstructed.
Yeah, so one strange choice made was to change the previous film's ending. We see Ricky get gunned down and shot out the back door. However, not one round hit his dome, or really anywhere near it. They don't even try to wave it off as he got back up and we shot him again. Also, terms like Santa Killer and a lot of their descriptions seem to fit Billy more than his brother. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the writers were unaware there were two killers. Begin to think I'm a clairvoyant dropped off in a Scream movie. And yes, all of those are definitely on the list. Anyways, the big bad wolf somehow got to Grandma's first. Grandma, played by Elizabeth Hoffman, is surprisingly okay with Ricky. She doesn't even ask him to remove his beanie or question the strange metal device. He almost seems fine with her too, until she pulls out a red present. Again, another kill off screen. Well, the trio shows up and walks around talking, being passive-aggressive, and the couple get it on in the bathtub. Do people normally do this when visiting family? The whole time this has been happening, the film has been cutting back to the LT and Doctor driving to Grandma's house. Well, this is a horror movie, and the LT doesn't want to piss himself off camera, so as he goes to take a leak, the Doctor takes his car. Back at Grandma's, things take a turn as Ricky goes on the attack, grabbing Jerry through the door. Chris manages to fight him off while Laura does her best Barbara from Night of the Living Dead impression, circa 1968. Anyways, pressing fast forward here, Chris retrieves his father's double barrel, but he never even gets a chance to use it. Retreating into the house, the good doctor shows up. The obviously psychotic killer doesn't give him the warmest welcome. Guess Ricky thought he came to make a purchase because he bought the farm. Jerry gets dragged under the bed and the final fight takes place in the basement. Laura takes out the light in an attempt to balance the odds, even if there's still a massive light source. You know, Suspiria at least made its dark scenes blue. Well, they fight, and she gets the worst of it. Luckily, Chris is there to send Ricky flying. You know, Chris, I'll give you a pass since this is the 80s, but typically you want to shoot the weak spot. Ricky isn't out yet, but Chris is, so Laura must summon all her strength and kill Ricky. By him falling on a broken bit of wood? Anyways, the cops finally show up and everybody is dead. We get wished a Merry Christmas and Ricky plays us out.
And a Happy New Year.
Silent Night Deadly Night 3 first premiered in the USA November 9th, 1989, with a final DVD premiere in Germany 6 December 2011. Well, at least one of their releases was in Christmas. I mean, with this film, I can't really blame them. There's barely any relation to Christmas in the movie. So what went wrong this time? Well, the original script for the film was done by producer Arthur Gorson and S.J. Smith. However, Hellman disliked the script and within 1 week had tossed out the original and had hired Rex Weiner to write a new one. This was, however, though, with Gorson's permission. It was then rewritten by Hellman and his daughter and Stephen Gaydos. Hellman's daughter has a side character appearance as the doctor's assistant. She's lucky she's not related to Argento, or we'd be seeing her tits. The entire process of filmmaking was done rather quickly. The rewritten script was done in March, principal photography finished by the end of April, with editing finishing in May, and the hopped up on cocaine product came marching to audiences by July. The editing was credited to one Ed Rothkowitz, the associate producer of the film. However, Hellman himself was the true editor. Rothkowitz had a non-linear editing system. Using this, Hellman assigned where he wanted the cuts. Rothkowitz then went and did that. The man playing Santa in Laura's dreams was Richard C. Adams, and he was originally filmed to be the one Ricky killed. However, Hellman felt it was too mean-spirited and redid the scene with himself as Santa. He would insult and make rude jokes, thus justifying his death. Fun fact, those were all ad-libbed. The final contribution to this film by Hellman was his 1963 film The Terror, having a cameo in one scene. Working under the title Blind Terror, the original script would go on to become Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. This is the final film to actually continue the narrative threads of the original work. I'm genuinely left to question who thought this would work as a sequel. None of the three films exactly carry the same tone, but parts 1 and 2 were similar enough for people not to feel whiplash. However, this one abandons any sense of dark comedy, or really even horror. Yes, there's a killer, and yes, there's scenes of danger, but nothing feels well done. The only legit good horror scenes are at the start with the dream. Parts like the basement are so weirdly lit, it defeats its own narrative. Ricky, going from his over-the-top nature to an emotionless zombie, saps out whatever energy you could hope this film would have. I also need to ask why anyone on the writing team even thought to include the brain destruction detail. It's never used apart from a mildly cool effect. Does anyone ever strike him there? No. He gets stabbed in the arm, shot, and impaled on a bit of wood. Honestly, previous Silent Night, Deadly Night films fell into that style of Scream, where the killer was human. Even if they were at times more resilient or even stronger than their prey, they still went down with just a few shots. In this one, Ricky just tanks point-blank buckshot. Also, despite having the clear means of giving Ricky the suit, he instead never dons a Santa outfit. Did this actor have it in his claws that he can't wear a Santa suit? Finally, the whole clairvoyant angle isn't played up at all. Halloween or Friday the 13th did something more or less with their supernatural children. The film has it and then never uses it again. You'd think she'd use her clairvoyance to avoid or trick Ricky, but nothing ever comes of it. The final appearance of Ricky makes no sense. Why is he in a regular suit? Did you watch the last two movies? The third entry is literally if you took the quality of part 2 and stripped out any of the charm. The goofy acting, the memorable lines, and surprisingly, the gore or cool kills. Hellman claims this is one of his best works, not his best film though. He says that due to how fast it was made. I suppose it's good to find the positives, but we applaud Hellraiser's CGI being done quickly because it was two guys in a garage and the film was otherwise great. A quick shit is still shit.
Her body may be young, but her soul is old.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.